was Project 607 TIM cluster. Up to Life is about health insurance for newly married husbands. So briefly, Up to Life Insurance is a newly formed insurance company that focuses its business on life insurance for freshly married husbands in the early 20s to mid 40s. This project plan is written as a guide for financing startup and management of this business and will also serve as a basis of measurements. The following is a brief summary of the main points of the project. Generate a project with profit. Grow at a challenging and manageable rate. And protect families in the community from becoming bankruptcy due to a family tragedy. Provide services with high quality, reasonable pricing, and top-notch protecting customer service, personal and building relationships, timely and accurate service, reputation of honesty and integrity are key factors to succeed for Up to Life insurance company. When it comes to Up to life insurance, we want to talk about their business objectives. So the main objectives of Up to Life services, their life insurance services, we're going to focus on the profit, the growth, the citizenship, the way how to accomplish those objectives, the keys to succeed, a wide variety of business services, the access to personal contact and services to exceed the expectations of the clients, the services and the relationship of clients, and lastly, the reputations afterwards in the community. The reason why we want to do that is because we want to show how Up to Life is able to show how the service shows honesty and integrity. Here we have a look at how Up to Life represents the types of the requirements that they're gonna emphasis on. It's gonna be like obviously the business requirements. They're gonna pay a lot of attention to the reading requirements, and obviously the system requirements, which are gonna be like user point of view, user goals for the user requirements. For the system requirements, it's gonna be like functional and like user gains, and like the top one is the business requirement. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's gonna be like the sponsor point of view, etc. Here we have an example of the business process of Up to life insurance. So obviously we have the client visit the website. The client fills out the question and answer survey. After that, the system is gonna analyze the survey that the client just filled out. It's gonna respond to the agent. Now it's gonna come to an agent and the client survey, an interview basically. So like agent and client gonna talk about what is gonna happen, what they're gonna need, what kind of policy they maybe have to have and maybe not. However, so like very important for the employees, the customers to understand the information system. So this is like it's just like a very simple use case diagram is like the employee obviously has to log in to see the details of the customer and the details of like their medical things and like all of that stuff, their policy whatsoever. The customer has to like go into the system to obviously after accepting the policy, it has to decide what is the best thing to pay, how to pay the policy in cash or in credit or in check. Each one's it can differ. Like if a customer or a client wants to pay on in November with cash, in December it can change to like a check whatsoever. So the information system wants to make sure the customer always has the best possibility how to pay their policy. And we're going back to the employee. Obviously, after all of that stuff happens, the employee wants to make sure it's gonna like give like very good detail to the secretary how to put the detail of the new new gain client customer and like all the information to the system so the client can actually look it up online and then so like the employee later on or the secretary can later on can print a very nice receipt for the customer or the customer can always look over the stuff in the cloud about his or her policy. Here we have a diagram where we talk about like the policy, the admin, the life insurance policy, the user, the customer, and the employee. So like basically with the policy, we asking about like to make a little bit more specific to understand the system a little bit more. We go like policy idea, the policy name, policy admin is very connected to like the admin obviously because the person who's gonna do it like it needs to know who purchased like who did the policy. However, we also need to know like what kind of policy the admin needs to succeed, like needs to put in the system. We have users, obviously users of the system. We have customers, employees like so it's like a very floating in diagram where like people can like see what is going on and see what they need to do and like how the different categories and like users and like life insurance policies like connect to each other. It's a very good way to understand the way of the BRD. Here we have an example of the use case diagram. So like we have like basically literally like three actors. An actor one who's like working with the use case one, who uses the use case two to extend to like the use case three and four. However, the actor one also acts as use case five, you know. So like the use case five is connected to the actor two who has use case six and seven. However, in our picture with up to life insurance, it could be an actor three who's going to have an effect on the use case seven. So like in this kind of example, like, you have three actors working with a lot of use cases. In those use cases, they can use those cases or they can extend further on, which is a very interesting part of them.